This is views from Sunnyside, courtesy of real estate team Everything Home, Colorado. With history that spans well over 100 years, Sunnyside is one of Denver's original neighborhoods and was founded in 1858 along with other original North Side neighborhoods such as Berkeley Lake, Potter Highlands, Sloan's Lake, and West Highlands. After valuable resources were removed from many inner-city Denver neighborhoods in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, Sunnyside, as many other inner-city Denver neighborhoods, fell victim to gang violence, additional crime, and low property values. Today, however, you never know about Sunnyside's history with vice, as it has become one of Denver's most expensive, beautiful, and interesting neighborhoods. The boundaries of Sunnyside are I-70 to the north, 38th Avenue to the south, the train tracks along Calumet to the east, and Federal Boulevard to the west. In the winter of 1858, Denver City founder William Larimer and his friend David C. Collier crossed the Platte River and claimed much of the land that we now know as the Lower Highlands for themselves to develop. At the time, there were three major towns named Denver, Auraria, and Highland, but they only lasted for a short time before the whole area was simply named Denver. Originally, the area we now know as Sunnyside was also in Highland. In 1872, however, the original idea for the Sunnyside neighborhood was formed as the community was given 3 square blocks between 38th and 41st Avenues and Pecos and Tejon. Most of what would become the northwest part of Sunnyside was made up of small farms and orchards in the late 1800s. During this time, the smelting industry was a huge propellant for Sunnyside's growth. First, in the 1860s through the 1870s, large numbers of Irish immigrants moved to Highland, drawn by job opportunities in the nearby rail yards and smelting businesses. In the 1880s and early 1890s, there was a large influx of Italian immigrants who came and were attracted to Highland for the same exact reason. Many Italians purchased land for extremely inexpensive prices and established large gardens. Vegetables grown in the gardens were sold throughout Denver and peddled door to door in North Denver. Some of the area became known as Little Italy and was characterized by small, one-room brick cottages along Osage, Mariposa, Navajo, Inca, and La Pine. In 1893, there was a silver panic that pushed the city of Denver into a depression. In the early 1900s, sugar beets were introduced to Colorado and hailed as a solution for the hurting economy. The sugar companies began hiring laborers from the Southwest and Mexico. Because of this, Hispanics slowly started to replace the Italian residents as the dominant ethnic group in the community. The Hispanic population continued to grow strongly over the next 5 decades, and from 1960 to 1970, the Hispanic population in Sunnyside doubled. In the neighborhood of Sunnyside, you have a couple of historic schools, specifically Smedley and Horace Mann. Smedley was named after respected dentist William Smedley, who moved from Pennsylvania and set up shop on Larimer Street. In 1871, he was one of the first dentists to complete a tooth extraction using laughing gas. At the time, this was truly an innovative, futuristic procedure. The city named Smedley School after him because of his substantial civic engagement. He also served on the school board. Horace Mann was designed by transplanted Chicago artist Temple Boyle and was completed in 1932, built to provide a junior high school education to local residents. It is a beautiful school with amazing brickwork. However, later additions to the school failed to meet earlier standards as a lack of qualified brick masons led to a decline in the quality of work. Today, Smedley is a Montessori junior and senior high school, and Horace Mann is occupied by Trevista School and focuses on preschool through 5th grade. In 1905, the Missionary Sisters of Sacred Heart opened the Queen of Heaven Orphanage. The orphanage was designed by Mother Cabrini at 48th and Federal. Until 1967, it was home to hundreds of girls before being replaced by foster care. In 1923, at 3830 Federal Boulevard, the Federal Theater and the pharmacy and grocery store connected to it were opened. The theater had 655 seats and was originally part of the Lucky 7 theater chain until 1939. The theater has seen a few renovations over the years and ceased as a movie house in the 1980s when it became a dollar theater. In 2010, Federal Theater became the home of Victory Outreach, which it still is to this day. There are 3 parks in the Sunnyside neighborhood: Ciencio Park, Chaffee Park, and La Raza Park. Each provides wonderful green space in the neighborhood, but La Raza Park specifically holds special meaning and history. Originally Navajo Park, the park's name was changed to Columbus Park in 1931 to represent the Italian demographic in the neighborhood and to highlight the man in Christopher Columbus, who had become a symbol of Italian ownership in the American dream and gave validation that Italians belonged in America as much as any other ethnic group. In fact, it was Denverite Angelo Noce who successfully fought to establish the first state-recognized Columbus Day in the nation in 1907. As demographics in the neighborhood changed to become more Hispanic, the park and its original pool were a highlight to residents and great place to cool off in the summer. When the pool began to fall into bad condition, many Hispanic residents complained to the city, and in the early 70s also demanded that a local resident be put in charge of the facility. Resident Arturo Rodriguez was hired by Parks and Recreation, and in June 1972, he and other local residents gathered to unofficially rename the park La Raza. The pool was removed in 1983, but the park continued to be a place of community and celebration. It is now officially La Raza Park. Sunnyside is one of the most amazing neighborhoods in the city, in my opinion. It literally has everything: parks, shops, proximity to other great neighborhoods, dining, downtown Denver attractions, as well as major traffic routes. And that's before you get to the architecture and housing. I haven't seen a neighborhood with a larger variety of housing than Sunnyside. Berkeley and Regis come close, but Sunnyside is more of a combination of the 3 neighborhoods of Berkeley, Regis, and Chaffee Park. More affordable than Berkeley and Regis, but more expensive than Chaffee Park. And every type of home that you can find in those neighborhoods can all be seen in Sunnyside. We're talking older and modern duplexes, Tudor-style homes, ranch-style bungalows, Victorians, and more. It's an amazing neighborhood. This concludes Views from Sunnyside. If you or anyone you know is interested in buying or selling a home in the old neighborhood, please don't hesitate to reach out. And don't forget, not only will I guide your real estate transaction from start to finish, but we take care of nearly all of our clients' relocation expenses professionally, free of charge. Thank you, and we look forward to working with you.